That sells like
Yeah, but it's getting
one of the
sucked
worst
into that Doctor Strange fucking. It's. I
thing.
think
That
it's only
crossover.
continuing because that's why it's.
I think so too. I think after
Yeah,
that,
I
it's
think
over.
after that they'll probably give him like 1 issue or 2 issues to wrap it up.
I'm glad they're gonna explain like the whole Vegas thing with him. So Valerio Sheedy. Oh god. Yeah, here it is, Midnight 193 in March.
All right.
It's like Thunderdome.
That article.
2 avatars enter the jungle, only one will leave. Oh shit, looks like he's being hunted.
Gotta get this rolling here.
Alright, go for it.
All right, welcome everybody to the Marvel Minute. We had did we only have 2 books? Oh no, I put 3 books up this week.
Yeah.
Marvel 2-in-1 ended up coming out on top of X-Men Grand Design, and I always say Tales of Suspense, but it's Tales of to Astonish, isn't it?
No, you got it. It's Tales of Suspense.
Okay, all right. I keep mixing it up. I don't know what Tales to Astonish is, I guess then. Is that another old book?
Yes, it is.
Okay, that's why it's in my head. All right. So yeah, this one out. Again, I am Brandon. I'm always joined by Trevitt for the Marvel Minute. This was something I was looking forward to, but then when I found out the team on it, not really. But we'll see if my mind is changed by the end, because the writer is Chip Zdarsky. Art team is Jim Chung, John Dell, and Walden Wong do inks, and Frank Martin is on colors. VC's Joe Carmanga on letters. So again, we got Marvel Comics production here. I'll get into a blurb, tell you about the issue and what we think about it. So we got well. What do we have here? It looks like a little like a title where you can find the remaining members of the Fantastic Four all under one roof, so to speak. I'll be honest, I initially thought when the series was announced, based on the title alone, that we would be getting 2 stories in each issue. So I was mildly disappointed this wasn't the case upon further research, and that the title is instead referring to 2 characters featured in the book. But the contents inside healed my wounds by the issue's end. So let's check out exactly what purpose these guys, Thing and Johnny Storm, are serving now that they're no longer relegated to just guest star status in other characters' books. So yeah, Thing was popping in and out of the Doom book, and Johnny Storm's been in and out of Spider-Man and a few other books.
Uncanny Avengers.
Inhumans books. Yeah, some Inhuman stuff lately. But yeah, now they're together. We got a 2 circled up in the top left corner of this issue. That's like the corner box art, so that's pretty cool. Really giving you the hint. That's what this is basically about here. The issue starts off with Johnny at Gibson Speedway. He's participating in like this NASCAR-esque race, accelerating like hell to get in first place. He's like in 4th or something right now. He's basically blowing his engine trying to get into first. With like 1 lap left, he ends up bursting the car into flames. I can't really tell if he crashes into a wall like kind of Dale Earnhardt's himself or not, but everything's in flames. But he comes walking out unharmed. A little bit of fire on his suit, kind of like half powers in effect, at least on his face. And that's basically how that scene ends, with this girl like asking him if he's okay. We get like a quick just, I don't know, recap 4-panel page of just recapping some Fantastic Four activities throughout the years, which leads into the introduction to Ben Grimm, the Thing, who's being clapped into place, being introduced for presenting this Fantastic Award. It's called, that's such a cheesy fucking name. The Fantastic Award. But anyway, it's like a $100,000 grant for scientific exploration in all forms, and it's being presented to somebody, in honor of the Fantastic Four and their disappearance. Ben does this little chit chat, does this little talk. It's kind of real heartfelt. Um, eventually excuses himself and steps outside for a minute here. Did you want to say something about that grant there?
No.
Oh, okay. I thought you were trying to
No.
chime in about the Fantastic Award.
Oh no, I just thought the name was kind of like on par because they got the fantastic car and all that.
Yeah. You're right. I guess
Kind
I
of
didn't
cheesy
think of
name.
it that way. Yeah. So yeah, it does fit. But anyway, Ben excuses himself for a minute, get out of the stuffy gathering, and runs into just some girl outside. He starts chatting up, which eventually leads him into running into Spider-Man, who's of course in character, running late to this event. Well, he's fighting some jewel thief. I don't think this guy's named, is he? Or Pile Driver?
Yeah,
Is that
Pile
his name or
Driver.
something?
He's one of the wrecking crew.
So Pile Driver and Spider-Man are duking it out, and Thing I think Thing kills him. He just takes his face and smashes it into the cement, and there is broken cement everywhere. This guy is dead if he doesn't have superpowers. I mean, he would be.
He does.
He would be obliterated if this was a normal
He was
guy.
the guy. He was the guy in the first issue of Jean Grey where she was fighting him. When she was eating the bowl of noodles, and then the wrecking crew ended up robbing like a bank nearby.
They've been bringing a lot of well, I guess because the Venom Inc. stories in my head, a lot of random dudes Spider-Man's been running into lately, like Pile Driver, the Looter. There were two other guys that got venomed up before trying to steal something. But Spider-Man ends up talking to Ben. He's like, "Yeah, I wanted to talk to you about something." Since Spider-Man's been hanging out with Johnny Storm a lot in the Spectacular book, basically brings up to Ben that Johnny's been super reckless lately. Kind of dark and broody, a little Batman-like when he thinks Spider-Man's not looking or paying attention. And he wants Ben to talk to him, try to shake him out of it because he knows he's still kind of down with his sister and his niece and nephew and Reed all gone. Spidey also does something cool. He hands over the keys to this warehouse storage facility. Yeah, for the contents of everything that was basically Fantastic Four related inside the Baxter building when Peter bought it. So he hands that over to the Thing, and Thing goes to check that out. So yeah, that was because I haven't really read Spectacular in a while. That was probably the best Spider-Man exchange I've seen Chip Zdarsky write personally.
Yeah, me too.
I know Anthony G's been trying to get me to pick that book back up, but maybe after reading this, I will, because I liked his writing in this a little more. Maybe he's getting better, but I wasn't thinking
the new issue
Spider-Man in that book.
I flipped through the new issue and it looks pretty good, I gotta say.
Yeah, so maybe I'll try it again, but kind of spoiling my reveal for what I think about this book at the end. But Ben ends up walking into this storage facility. He's going through different memories. He sees his old chair, looking through old newspapers and stuff. Remembers a promise he made to Sue before they disappeared about how he would keep an eye on Johnny and how Johnny looks up to him even if he won't admit it. So while Ben's doing all this thinking and reminiscing and thinking of the promise he made to Sue, he gets interrupted by none other than Dr. Doom, who this is a funny exchange because Dr. Doom is basically only here because the thing he stole from the Thing won't open for Dr. Doom. It's coded to the Thing's DNA. So, Doom basically didn't believe Reed and Sue and everybody just would vanish or disappear without him having a hand in it.
That's
which I guess he kind of sort of did. He was the one that started the whole secret. I always want to say, Secret Wars fiasco. But he didn't end up killing Reed, which is what he really wants to do. So he's like, I looked for a reason for their disappearance. I found nothing. He's like, I ended up finding this, which is it's basically like an orb, is what it looks like. And he's like, I can't get it open. I've tried everything I know how to do. And
he's like, he's even insulting because he's like,
You can have it back.
He's like, I overturned every inconsequential invention. Which
Yeah. He looked at everything. He found nothing, and this is basically the only thing he can't get into. So he's just turning it back over to the Thing. Him and Thing duke it out for a little bit because they don't like each other at all. Obviously, Thing always is throwing in his face how he doesn't believe for 1 second he's trying to be good, and there might be something to that. But Doom basically hands this over, and what appears to be, leaves Thing alone, but we'll find out. Anyway, Thing takes this thing into his hand and pops it open, or it starts, playing this recording, this hologram of Reed, who basically gives this long version explanation of based on how they died and, whose DNA signature is picking up. It's a different message. He basically reveals, I gotta read my notes here, what this thing is called again. The multisect. He reveals the location of this tool called the multisect to Ben Grimm. I want to stop saying the Thing because I keep saying Thing to refer to other stuff we're talking about. And what this multisect does is it's a tool that can access an area known as the multiplane. It's basically like a roadway to infinite universes. So he wants Ben to start exploring again, like in their memory. They're not around anymore to do it with them, but he still wants Ben and Johnny to keep it alive, keep what they were doing alive. So yeah, after that scene ends, we check back in on Johnny Storm, who is up to something crazy. He keeps like blasting himself into the atmosphere and then like free falling down to the earth, kind of looking like suicide attempts.
Yeah.
This is what it comes off as. And he runs into Ben Grimm, because this is also the location of their first mission, right?
Yeah.
Which is where Mr. Fantastic told him to go to find the multisect. So he ends up just coincidentally running into Johnny here, who's just, here because this is a place of memories for him. Him and Thing kind of get into a little back and forth with each other before Johnny eventually like breaks down and actually starts talking to Ben. And he tells him basically, I'm pissed off and I can't get over my sister and everyone still being gone. On top of that, he feels like he's losing his powers. Like he can't stay flame on as long as he used to. And he basically keeps doing these free falls or what looked like suicide dives to test his limits and test his powers in different ways, I guess is what he's getting at. So yeah, he, after the breakdown, like, opens up to Ben a little more, and Ben kind of reveals to him, he's like, I don't think they're necessarily gone. Between the message he got and this, I think between the new inspiration he has for exploring and the fact that, no bodies were ever found, he thinks they're out there somewhere.
And they are.
Yeah, obviously. We know that. We saw them in the Legacy issue, yeah. And Power Pack, yeah. So there have been hints of them out there, and they're doing something, but they haven't made contact with anyone down here. Meanwhile, our cliffhanger, while that emotional moment is going down, is Dr. Doom, who has a drone or something somewhere, it looks like, keeping an eye, obviously, on the 2 remaining members of the Fantastic Four. So you get kind of a whole full circle, really classic feeling by the end of this comic, because Doom looks like he's back up to no good, or he's up to something.
Pure Doom right there.
Yeah, he sure is. He like if even I know his suit doesn't look like classic Doom, but like the hood's up, his eyes are glowing a little bit. Like he just looks more rambunctious than he's looked in his series and in some other recent events he's popped up in and around.
I love
Like,
that
I mean,
too.
he really came off as a nice guy in Gwenpool. You know what I'm saying? Uh,
And an infamous Iron Man. Well,
yeah,
trying to be a nice
yeah. But yeah, as far as Buy Bow or Forget goes, I mean, I was super surprised by how much I actually enjoyed this book. I didn't have maybe I didn't want to say my expectations were super low, which is why I enjoyed it so much. I just genuinely think it was written well and like the characters' voices felt spot on. I enjoyed again this Johnny more than I do in the Johnny in the issues I've read as Spectacular. Like it's just less jokey. It's more of a way I feel like Johnny would talk, and I know he's dealing with Spider-Man, so it's more of like a bro relationship
Yeah.
in that book, and this is more like you know, Ben's kind of like a big brother, a family relationship type thing. So but I don't know, I just enjoyed their interactions. The Doom stuff was cool. You know, Spider-Man handing over the keys and stuff to Ben. There were just good moments in it that I really had a fun time with. And if it's a book that leads to the return of a Fantastic Four, you know, that'd be pretty cool purpose behind it.
Yeah.
But
It would
other
be.
than that, the art was also good. Like that's just Jin Chung's style. I always would like to see it just colored a little brighter, I guess, but that's just his style, so I don't really have a problem with it. It looks great all the way through. You know, Doom looks cool. Things bottom of his face looks a little funky sometimes, almost like the top of his mouth is eating the bottom half of his mouth. But that's my only beef with the art, really. I really enjoyed it, so it's a buy for me. What about you?
I kind of agree with what you said about the colors. Like that's Frank Martin. Like the color he was doing X-Men Gold. He's not right now, but
Yeah,
those kind of like tannish, orangish like feel
yeah.
to it, like
Sometimes they're
all
really
over.
washed out feeling.
Like when Chung did Young Avengers, it was very bright and shiny, and it popped a lot more.
Yeah,
But I love that in the beginning when Johnny is racing the people, everyone he's leading in the race played Human Torch in the movie. Like they had Jordan from the recent movie Evans, you know, Captain America when
no,
he played him,
I didn't
and
pick
then
up on that. That's pretty cool.
yeah, and then Jay Underwood from the '94 movie. So he covered like every person who's ever played
What,
Johnny
from the
Storm.
one that never like you can watch on YouTube, that fucking movie they're
Yep,
talking
yep.
about?
He even covered
That's
that
funny.
one. Those are some deep cuts right there. So I love that it shows a really good look into the grief of Johnny and Ben. Like we've gotten some of it in other books, like Infamous Iron Man with Ben a little bit, and then Uncanny Avengers with Johnny, but not like this. And there was the really good in-depth look at how they feel, and then the scene from the ship when it was crashing from Secret Wars. That was like a really smart and awesome way to to add some more emotion into their
Yeah.
grief, and it was really a good idea of Chip Zdarsky to
Yeah, I
take
liked
advantage
how
of that.
they almost like they took the panels right out of there, but they
Yeah.
cropped out the text that wasn't Sue. So it
Yes.
looked really cool. At first it almost annoyed me. I'm like, damn, I want to read those panels again. But then you get the point of it, like it's Sue's promise or Sue asking for this promise from Ben, and yeah, I liked it a lot
Yep.
too. It's a good touch.
Someone, I think it was Newsarama, they did an article about it, and they had all the panels from Secret Wars and then the panels from Marvel 2-in-1, and it was really cool the fade out of the actual dialogue from Secret Wars. Like this isn't it happened, but this isn't what's important right now in the moment. So they just put the dialogue from the actual book. I also like that Zardarsky has a really good handle on Fantastic Four. He did a really good job with the handling of the characters. And before, if you told me he would be able to handle writing a Fantastic Four book, I'd probably say no fucking way. But this kind of changes my mind a little bit.
Yeah.
Um, it also has the best characterization of Doom I've seen since Secret Wars. Like I enjoyed Infamous Iron Man a little bit. It was kind of boring, but this was like Doom. He talked in the third person. He acted like Doom. It was perfect. Even like the scene when he's spying on Johnny and Ben with the drone. That's like perfect, like old school Doom right there. I loved everything about it. The art from Chung, Martin, and Dell and everybody was great. It was gorgeous. The emotions on the faces of the characters. Some of the small action scenes, like the one between Doom and Ben, and the one between Ben and Johnny, were awesome. Like when he like explodes in fire when he's all angry. That looked great. Um, I loved it. It's definitely a buy. I can't wait for the next one.
Yeah.
I definitely have a new respect for Chip Zdarsky.
Yeah. I liked I mean, I liked some other books that he's done. I just didn't like his start on Spider-Man. You know, like I said, I might have to
No,
peek back in and see what's going on there. But
maybe it got
yeah,
better.
this was a cool
Characterization
book.
just seemed off.
Yeah, this was a cool book. So yeah, this is the Christmas edition of the Marvel Minute. So I hope everyone gets what Santa is bringing them, what they asked for. I said that all wrong, but you get the gist of what I said there. So yeah, you guys have a good holiday. We will holler at you next week. Yeah, finally the first Jean Grey issue next week. So if I had to predict what was going to win the vote, that will probably be it. So be prepared for that. That's what I'll say there. So yeah, we'll holler at you guys next week, and peace out.